Good afternoon. All right. Before we start, okay, we have some national holiday next Monday. Again, another holiday. Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly? I'm running some scan of my computer, so my computer might be a bit slow today because I think it's infected by some so-called Trojan. I'm still trying my best to clean it up. So that's why could have some lagginess, a bit laggy. Sorry about that. If in case later on the class, maybe my computer bit hang like that, it means that I'm trying my best to, because running Android Studio is quite consuming, resource consuming, while I'm running also a scan in the background. So that's why might have some slow how to say, the screen sharing might be a bit slow, so bear with me for that. I haven't solved my Trojan yet, the Trojan horse, Trojan horse, Trojan horse infected. I'm trying to clean it. Okay, so this Monday, today is 9, right? Next Monday actually is 卫赛节. You know Wesak? Malaysia is a public holiday, and I don't know about China. For Buddhist Wesak Day 刚刚好又是星期一it's a public holiday, official holiday for Xiamen University, Malaysia. It has been announced. For our class, actually, I'm okay to carry on without change next Monday, 3 to 6, just like the previous holiday. But if majority of you need to have the holiday and then you really want to attend the live class, right? Then let me know. Do we need to carry out a poll? Or any of you, definitely you cannot attend because it's a public holiday, Wesak Day, next Monday afternoon. You let me know now. If many of you cannot, then we have to reschedule to another day during the same week. So can you just let me know now if we need to carry out a poll, not like last time. I need to create a poll for you to answer, to respond. Do we need a poll for that? For the Wesak Day, whether we can carry out the class as usual. Yeah, for me, I also prefer that actually. Can we just have the class? We don't have to shift. That is the best for me and for you also. But we have to respect, right? Maybe some students, they have their religion purpose. Religion purpose also we have to respect. Buddhist, right? You have to go for your prayer and things like that. So anyone have any you want to tell me that you must have the class rescheduled? You want to attend the live class, but you cannot attend next Monday because it's a holiday. Let me see whether most of you are here or not. Even though you cannot attend, actually we have recording. Just that if you insist that you must be present for the live class, then you let me know now. Then we have to reschedule, and you couldn't attend next Monday. No one mentioned anything, right? Okay, so with that, I think I will just carry on. Next Monday, same time, same time, 3 p.m. We'll carry on the class as usual. We carry on the class as usual. So we don't reschedule unless you really have some urgent matter on that day. You need to attend the ceremony or something like that. You need to go for something for Monday. You let me know. Personally, you let me know. Okay. So let's start the class. Okay, today the class will be focusing on one very important UI control. Right, many of you, I have gone through all your mock-up, your assignment 1. Right, this is one of your work, right? Alvin's group. Okay, one of the main feature of our app, right? The app that you are going to develop. Right, remember assignment 2 is you are going to do this inside your Android Studio. Okay, it's actually this screen, check-in history. This one, check-in history. I cannot click. Okay, check-in history somewhere on the. Okay, let me make it a bit larger. Can I scroll? Okay, on the right-hand side here, check-in history. It'll be a list of location, right? Location where you check in, the check-in time, check-in date, and also the location name. For example, Pavilion Kuala Lumpur, right? So that would require you to generate a list based on certain criteria. For example, you want to search by date. So certain date, this person has a list of check-in, right? So this component, the one that you normally use in the previous Android Studio, Android version, older version, people use list view. Right? People will normally use list view for that. It's a kind of view, right? List view. You can still find list view in Android Studio. Okay, let me change the sharing. You can still find list view in Android Studio, right? But a modern way, a more powerful UI component that you can consider to use is actually RecyclerView. So today we are going to do that, to learn how to do that. Now, this is not a very straightforward, very simple view like text view, image view that you can directly set the attribute. Then that's all you work. Because this one needs to work with a list of data. Right? Data means data come from database. Data come from local database, remote database, or in our case, assignment 2, you can just do dummy data in the code itself, or you can put the data, the list of data inside a file, right? If we don't have a database here, we don't implement a database here. If you know how to do a database, you can do it straight away. But we haven't come to that topic. So for now, for today, when we learn how to use RecyclerView, we are going to use some dummy data. Dummy data meaning some hard-coded data inside either the code, or we can do it in a file like string file. You can do an array in a string file, right? So we are going to try to emulate how to create a RecyclerView. And this is the component that I recommend you to use for your project. Even though you can also achieve the same thing using list view, but list view is only a linear list. RecyclerView, why is it better than list view is it can do horizontal and vertical. Even do grid layout, right? Grid meaning it's like photo gallery kinds of layout using RecyclerView, meaning you can list out your data in vertical, horizontal. You can also like do something like later I show you for YouTube app actually has a RecyclerView which is horizontal. You can scroll left and right, and also grid layout. Right, you can do a photo gallery types of layout, right, using RecyclerView. Okay, let me show you an example. This is exactly what can be achieved using a RecyclerView. Let me show you some example. Okay, RecyclerView, if you use RecyclerView, you can easily configure it to display your data in a grid layout format. This is the grid layout. Right? Grid layout and linear layout, vertical linear layout. In this example, there are two. The one on the left, you will see the one on the left is grid layout with three column. So you can do a grid of boxes to display images, for example, to display thumbnail images. So that is using grid layout, using RecyclerView. The one on the right is actually a linear, the normal conventional linear way of displaying linear layout. RecyclerView layout. So you can just do a bit of tweaking in the code, right, to set whether your layout is going to be a grid or a linear. Linear layout can be also horizontal and vertical. So let's look at some example of YouTube app. Oh, not the website, YouTube app. It's very commonly used, RecyclerView actually. Okay, so let me show you example of YouTube app. I cannot annotate using theme. If I use Zoom, easy, I can draw. Okay, here, YouTube app. All of you have YouTube app, right? You use it before, but some of these are not the latest one. Okay, YouTube app actually use RecyclerView. Let me see, any one of them is more. I don't think these are the latest view, but if you look at YouTube, this one, right? These kinds of view, you can scroll up and down, right? The video, up and down is a list, right? So that is actually a recycler view. And when you have a app, right? YouTube app on the home screen, right? There is a filter on top. Filter. You can filter by the topics of your video. That filter, you can actually it's actually a recycler view also. There is no illustration here. It's a bit hard. I need here this one. All of you can take out your phone. You can see. It's not clear, but you can see out there. There is a today, some topic right above the picture. And also above there is some icon, right? If you can scroll left and right, that is actually a recycler view also. It's a horizontal recycler view, right? Above this picture, the first picture. So down there, the picture down there, and also the title of the video and so on. Actually, you can do using a recycler view, right? It's a vertical recycler view, which is the general case where we use recycler view, right? Okay, so that is the background, right? Background of a recycler view and why you should use it, right? Example, this example is very good. You see now on this video, on this animated image of YouTube. This one, right? Can you see or not? The one that scroll left and right. Continue watching today or what and watch. That filter itself is a horizontal recycler view, right? And the video down there, right, is actually the vertical recycler view, right? So it can be horizontal, it can be vertical. Okay, before we go into that, let's understand the concept of how to implement it. If you understand it, it will be easy, right? This is the architecture of how you can implement a recycler view, right? For those of you who are new, right, you need to implement something as an intermediary between your view and also the data. Because as I said just now, recycler view actually take data from a database or from a file, right? So that data is a separate entity than your view. The view is actually just XML. You declare an XML, recycler view XML inside your program, right? You have a layout file with recycler view. So inside that view, right, you have small component because each of the item that you display on the recycler view is a repetition. 一直重复. You repeat the same design across the entire list, right? Whether it's a list view or whether it's a recycler view, you keep repeating the same design, right? Whether it's an icon there, when there's some text, some title. So you need to create something called view holder. View holder is a design. View holder is a design of a specific item, only one item. And then you repeat the item across the entire list. So you need to design two view file. So one view file is as a container of the entire recycler view list. One which is normally your activity layout. You need to create an activity layout that contains the entire XML of the recycler view, the list, the full list. And you need to create another XML, a separate XML that defines the structure of one of the view holder. The view holder structure is the design that you want to display one of the items of the many items you display on the recycler view. So you need to design that, whether you use text view, image view, or other thing onto it. You can use relative layout, linear layout, constraint layout, or any kinds of layout to design that view holder. Right? And after that, you need to code, right? You need to code the adapter. Adapter is a Kotlin or Java class that you use to adapt. It's called adapt. Adapter, adapt the data to the view, meaning connect. Adapter is like a connector. Connect the data. Data can be in a list, can be in a database. You read from a database into an array list or into a list. Any list, any kinds of data structure that can hold an array. So that data, you look through the data, you read the data, and then you adapt the data onto the view one by one. So every piece of data will be adapted to one view holder, right? And then when you adapt every piece of data to one view holder, then when you repeat it, all of them will be listed out on the recycler view. So that is a concept. So you need to create three entities. One is the adapter. Normally it's a class. It's a Java class, Kotlin class. If you use Java, it's a Java class, conventional Java class, but you need to inherit from RecyclerView package. Later we'll do it. And then view holder is part of the adapter. So when you code the adapter, view holder code is actually part of the adapter. And then the view side, on the view side, you need to code two XML file. One XML file is the main XML file, which is the normally on your activity, right? You have a XML that contain the RecyclerView XML. And then another one is the separate file, XML file, that define the design of your item. We call it view holder XML. Two XML, and then one adapter class, and then some code in the main activity to run the adapter later. Activity, you need to write some code to execute the adapter. And data, you put it on another, right? Data, either for our case, data is in the code because we hard code. But in the real case, you need to write separate program to read data from database. So this is non-trivial. It's not so as simple as just a few lines to do a recycler view. So we need to learn it carefully in order for you to understand how to implement it. Okay, so let's start to do the practical. Okay, let's go to Android Studio. All of you, I think you should have opened your Android Studio. We can start with a new project. This is a sample that I'm going to demo to you later. Okay, let's create a new project. We'll do a new project. New project. So my computer would be a bit slow today because I'm running a service to scan the scan the back end, right? Scan the file, right? Trojan. The Trojan will make the computer slow. Okay, so start a new project, empty activity. All right. So we can call it RecyclerView example, or let me put RecyclerView example, or RecyclerView tutorial. So just I will use Kotlin. If you want to use Java, it's the same. Just convert the syntax. Kotlin. Use Kotlin. RecyclerView example. This is the package name. You just follow the name, right? So we can create one. Just finish. All right. Let the code be generated and sync. And let me switch to that project. Hold on. And switch to that project. All right, so let it sync first. You take some time to update the grader, use grader. I'll start a new project. Okay, be careful with grader. You know what? How I get the Trojan or not? It's because I download some sample project, Android actually, from somewhere, GitHub or wherever. And actually the code of that grader project, the grader actually embedded some Trojan, right? So when I download the project and I open using Android Studio and run and sync like now, right? When it sync, then my computer, the Microsoft Defender actually detected Trojan, right? It's in the grader, because when you sync, you actually execute the grader code, grader script, right? When you execute grader script, the person can actually embed malicious script inside grader, So you execute into your computer and just spread the virus, not virus, it's actually Trojan, spread the Trojan. So I have to look for the folder where the grader actually store the file, but it's a bit too late. When I go and find it, I delete the file, so it keeps coming up, new one. So I have to find some software to clean it. Right, so be careful of some anonymous project, sample project, tutorial project that people put online. Right, most of them are okay. Just that when you download the entire project into download the entire project, open using your Android Studio and open and execute it. Right, the grader, actually they can embed something in the grader, because grader is the first script that will actually be executed. Right, so when you sync the project. Right, so let's wait for it to sync. Right, create a new project. Let it sync first, sync first. Right, so for RecyclerView, we need to add some dependency into the project, which is RecyclerView. RecyclerView is not a built-in library, right? In the API of Java API, you need to add additional dependency. Okay, if you don't want to wait, we can go to the project view. So hold on, let me answer a message. Sorry, I answer a message. Okay, done. So grader already synced. Right, so go to grader, view grader. Okay, we need to add in a dependency. So, okay, so one way to add dependency is you just copy from the RecyclerView documentation, the dependency script, right? One way, I teach you two way, actually, there are two way. Okay, if you go to the, okay, let me get it first. Go to Google developer website. You just Google for RecyclerView. You Google for RecyclerView. Hey, sorry, did I share the screen with you just now? Oh, I didn't share. Sorry about that. And let me go to the website. Right, if you search for RecyclerView, right? So there is a documentation, developer android.com, right? Developer android.com. This is the official website with the releases and so on. Right, the latest release, I give you this link. Okay, this is how you actually learn to do development. We don't have a proper textbook actually document down all this, the latest one. So what we can do is always we have to refer to developer website, and this is for the RecyclerView, and then this is the version. The version we are going to use 1.2.1. This version may change. Currently, it is already up to 1.3.0 Alpha 2. Alpha means it's still in the test. It's not the the version that is stable. 1.2.1 is a stable version, right? 1.3.0 is the alpha version. You can try to use alpha. Actually, normally it's okay. You don't have to worry. You can import the alpha version. How do you import? Copy this text, right? So this implementation dependencies, you have to copy this, right? Copy this, and then you put this into your grader, build.grader file. This is the first step to do, right? You always have to do that. Right, you always have to do that, So for any project that require additional external so-called, how come cannot? Okay, external file, right? External library, right? You have to copy that. So let me go to the project. All right, so back here. All right, so just pass that implementation code onto your build.gradle somewhere there. You can always put a comment there. This is for RecyclerView. RecyclerView. Let me close some of the unnecessary file so that my computer can be a bit fast. Right, so this is the RecyclerView that we have to add in. Okay, how to know whether this is a latest one
Sorry,
later
sir.
on? Yes.
Actually, we cannot see what your screen display.
Oh, you cannot see, Cannot see. Okay, let me.
We cannot see.
Okay, wait, wait. Something is wrong with my sharing. Okay, let me share again. You can't see the project, the Android Studio, right? I'm on Android Studio.
Yeah, we can only see your face.
Okay. Okay, let me reshare again. I think something is wrong. A bit slower. Let me see how to. Even though I try to switch, also cannot. Okay, let me log out again. Log out for a while and then coming again. Let me log out a while. I log out for a while. Sorry, about that. I leave and then I come back again. Cái 我部 end 啊3點半先。立宏起来了，立宏，上课啊，今天3点半啊。 Okay. Okay, student, can you hear me? Or maybe I close my camera lah. I close my camera while I'm teaching so that to save some memory lah. So the camera, the video will actually affect also. Sorry, just that because I kena Trojan. My computer is infected. Can you see or not? This one? Can see?
Can.
Can or not? You just type yes or no. Also.
Yes, we can see.
Yes, yes. Okay, let me close my camera while I'm teaching. You don't have to see my face. I just don't show camera now. Okay, yeah, good. Okay, bear with me. Sorry for that. All right, so paste this into your project. How to update this? How do you know whether this is the latest one? Because now we have just generated the code, right? Generated the project, create a new project. So these are definitely, most likely are the latest one, but not the alpha. All these, so dependency are actually the stable release, the latest stable release. But it's not static. You always change. So one way for you to update this is you go to file, you go to your project file, right? You don't have to always go to the website to check this or whether it's the latest one, what is the latest version. One way to actually check this is actually here, project structure. Project structure. You go to dependencies. You go to dependencies. Sorry, I have a delivery. Give me 1 minute, 1 minute. Right? Okay. So the project's dependency, you can actually click on project, file, project structure. The place where you always configure your SDK and your grader, right? Grader plugin, right? So you always need to choose the correct version of grader that you have already installed, right? Normally we choose the one that we have already installed on our computer. Don't always use the different one, otherwise you download a lot of different copy to your computer. So grader plugin, for me I use 7.1 grader plugin and also grader version, right? What I want to tell you, emphasize now is the dependencies, right? So you see the listed dependency here, right? The one listed in your build.grader for the app. This is the module level. You have two build.grader. One is for the project, right? Because the Android Studio is designed in such a way that one project may have multiple apps. You can run multiple apps inside one project. But for us, normally we run only one app, right? So we have two grader file. So this grader file for the app, right? This is the module level grader. So you have one dependency section. This code is called Groovy. Groovy, Groovy. These are Groovy script actually. So under this dependency section, all these you can access also using project structure. Dependencies here. You click on the app, right? The app that you're running. The app here. So you can see or not? All those that you list out there, including RecyclerView, the one that we have just passed there, is there, right? If you don't know the script, Groovy script for the RecyclerView, you can also search. You can add dependency here, right? It's actually a module dependency, so you can just click the plus button, module dependency, and then you look for it. You can always Google, right? It's actually an implementation. It's not Google, sorry, you can search, right? There you'll search the database. So all these dependencies are hosted on Google repository, right? You put in Google repository and also Maven Central. JCenter, I remember in my earlier class, I told you JCenter is obsolete. So don't put JCenter as a place for you to look for the dependency. But normally for me, I go to the Google developer to look for the relevant component, the dependency script. I copy and paste into my build.gradle. Okay, how do you know this is the latest one? You can, after you select the relevant dependency, right? So there is a requested version. Our current version for RecyclerView, the latest one, stable version is 1.2.1, right? But if you want to use the alpha, actually there are newer version also alpha, 1.3.0 alpha 1, 1.3.0 alpha 2. This is the same as the website one. If you go to the Google developer website, look for RecyclerView. Just now, right, I show you. It's also listed, the latest one is 1.3.0 alpha 2. So Android Studio will actually help you to update from time to time. Every time you run Android Studio, you pull the latest list of dependency from the repository, Google repository. And then from here, you know whether you are using the latest one. Like current one, we are using the latest stable version 1.2.1. It's good enough, right? But I just want to tell you, you can actually update from here. So like constraint layout, right? We use a lot of constraint layout. The latest version that we actually put it there is 2.1.3. But they are actually, this is the latest, already latest. So you might be using the older version somewhere you will order, but you can always update to 2.1.3. So, okay, then sync. Once you add a new dependency, we have to always sync this file again with your project. So this is dependency. You can always update this list, right? Using the tool, using Android Studio. Project structure. Let me say, I cannot open the project structure while my project is syncing. So once I sync, I can go there. Project structure, dependency, and then I can see the list here. I can add using the tool also. And then I can update the dependency, right, based on the version given. I can always know what is the latest version because the Android Studio will help me to see out. So that is what we need. Okay, so done. Right, so let's go to the layout file. Layout file. First thing we do is we want to add a control, RecyclerView control onto our layout. So delete this one. Now we don't want the text view. So inside the code, right, just create a body for it. Constraint layout. We use constraint layout, it's fine. It's fine. Now we are going to add the RecyclerView in the constraint layout. Okay, now can follow? Okay, so we have already added the dependency, right? This is Android X. RecyclerView is under Android X. So what we do is we go here. You don't have to worry. You don't have to memorize anything, right? Once it's there, you just put Android X dot, and then you just put recycle. You see already. Recycler, just REC, you come up. It's listed there actually. So you just select. So if normally for RecyclerView, we take the full width, so we can add match parent here. Right, and then for height, right? For this case, our entire screen is occupied by one RecyclerView, so it's okay also to put match parent. But normal case where you have multiple component, right? Let's say in the same screen, you have some other layout component above and below your RecyclerView. You have to set also how much RecyclerView height you want, how many dp. Or maybe you can make it like red content. If you want it to extend as long as your list of items. But normally RecyclerView, you cannot fit in one screen. You need to scroll up and down, right? So for this case, for our case, we are going to fill it with the entire screen. So we put match parent and give it an ID. Always give an ID to any component you have on the layout so that you can access it later in the code. Right, so you need to access it in the code. So we put plus ID slash, right, plus ID. So I'll give it a name. So a name, we call it RecyclerView, the easy one. Because we have only one, so we can use RecyclerView.
right? And this is constraint layout, right? So we just constrain it, go to the design. Oh, it's actually constrained already. If you look at here, right, you can actually constrain it. You just tap on this. So it's 0, 0, 0, 0 on the 4 side, right? So it's constrained to the 4 side of the parent, the layout, the view, 0, 0, 0, 0. So you see, once you click on the design, the attribute, the layout editor, so you see the code again. You go to the code again. You see that it's constrained. 4 side to the parent, bottom, top, end, and start. End is the right, start is the left. Because our screen is from left to right. Right, by default, our viewport is actually from left to right. So the left is the start, the right is the end. Can you understand? So we put in a recycler view into the layout first. This is the first layout file that I told you before, right? Just now I said we need 2 XML files for recycler view. One is this one. We need to put in this control. Is a container of your recycler view. Right, it's just a container. So you need to embed later, we call it view holder into it. So I can give you this part. Now my computer slightly better now, can move faster. Lucky. Okay, let me give you the code. Just now, lagging, I don't know why. Okay, now faster a bit. Almost done scanning. I scanned since last Friday until now. The scanning still haven't finished. I do a full scan. That's why it's a bit slow. I never switch off the laptop for 3-4 days already. Okay, so this one, the layout. Constrain it to the 4 side of your view. For today, our main activity, we just do one activity, 4 side, right? So depending on your design for your assignment, you might have something on top, maybe a title or something like that, right? You might have a text view on top or something like that. So you have to adjust accordingly. So your recycler view may not be always, the height may not always match parent. For this case, we can match parent. Okay, done. Right now, we want to do a additional layout file. Right, we call it, let's call it item. Today, we are going to do a recycler view for our history, check-in history. Just the one that we do for the assignment. So we are going to just create the file. We call it, just right click on the layout folder, new layout resource file. All right, layout resource file. We call it history item. History item. Let us design it using relative. Today, I don't want to use constraint for this part of it. The view holder is part of your recycler view. Just now I show you, right? Every item should have a view holder. So this history item XML layout later will be bind to your view holder in your code. So we use relative layout. Relative layout. We haven't learned relative layout before, right? So today we learn it, right? So relative. You can use linear layout, constraint layout, any layout also fine. But we use relative layout for now. Okay, for a start, we just use the design view. We just drag a text view. For a start, we just try using a text view first, right? Text view. We simply drag it into the layout. Anyway, we'll do. Just put it there, right? The layout, text view. So we put it in at the start, at the top. So let it be, when you use relative, it is relative to something. So in this case, it is relative to the parent because we have nothing else. The entire layout is only one text view. So let's try not to put any margin. Just stick it to the top and also the start. Start meaning the right, the left. So you can see the text view will be sticking to the top left of your entire layout. Just leave it like that. Change the ID. This ID we call it location. Location. And then the text we just simply put a dummy text. we call it the refactor. So the ID, the ID we call it location. Location. We want to list out name of places. Okay, student. Right? Understand? Just a text field. Location. Wrap content is fine. Okay, the text we just put some dummy there. Later we can get the data from a file. Right? We can read the data from a file, or we can actually list it out using code. So now for now we just put SMUN Malaysia campus. Just to show something a bit real. The location is actually SMUM Malaysia campus. Right? So right, just a text. Okay, if you just want to put a bit of margin to it, it's okay. Right? Okay, I can give you this one. Okay, later I give you. So this is like we can put in some margin. Right, margin on the top. Right, maybe 10 dp. Margin on the left. dp. Right? So text view. So a bit of margin from the top and from the left. Just shifted a bit. Right? So okay, I give you this. Relative layout. Remember, relative layout. If you have problem, please. Did I record? Oh no, I forgot to record. I think so. Did I record? Yes. Okay. How come you record for me? Okay. Or someone help me to actually record. Okay, good. Sometimes I forget. After the whole class, forget the record to record again. Okay. Okay, this relative layout. We use relative. Why? Because I want to teach you later relative layout. How to use relative layout. The relativity, relative, 相对性的，相对论，相对性。Later when you add thumbnail and so on onto it, you see the beauty of it. Right? You don't have to use linear and create multiple linear layout or vertical, horizontal. Using relative is easier for this case. Okay, next view. Right? Okay, done. This one, we don't have to touch it anymore. Just close it. Done already. So don't open too many. Close it, close it, close it, close it. And even the activity, close it. Just close it. Okay, now go to the Java folder. Right? We want to create new file. For RecyclerView, we want to display something on the screen. We need to create a class to represent our object. Like history. History has property like location name, like date and time, check-in date, check-in time. For example, also latitude, longitude. Maybe you check in at certain location, you have to store the latitude, longitude in database. So it's a data model. You need to create a data model for your class, right? So that data model will hold the property value of the object that you want to display. For this case, we just create a generic general Kotlin class. Kotlin class. We call it history. Capital letter. Any class name must be capital letter. H. History. Right? For Kotlin, you know that you can create a data class actually. Data class is simpler. Right? You put in your property here. But for me, I want to help also those you doing Java. Right? So Java, normally we have property listed in the class body. So same. So history, just now we have location, right? That is actually location name. So we can create one location name. Just call it location name, a string. And then we need to initialize it to something. Just put an empty string. Empty string will do. Right? What else? History, check-in history. So we should have something like maybe date, right? So we use string to store the date. Just make it convenient so that you don't have to process date, right? So maybe the date, the time, right? If you don't want the value to the variable name to clash with some keyword, date and time are keyword. in a lot of programming language. So just put check-in date. Huh? Just change a bit. Huh? Just put in check-in front, check-in time. Huh? Right? So normally any database we have an ID, right? So it's an integer. Let's declare an ID. Just by default it's 0, right? So ID. Right, and then maybe latitude, right? Let's say check-in, you want to remember the location of the place. You call it latitude is double, double. By default it's 0.0, you can put, right? Or any default value, right? Longitude. Latitude, longitude, you know history, right? You know geography, you know history, geography, right? 中文我忘记叫什么地纬线什么纬线直的 longitude is the vertical one, the position of the place, and latitude is the horizontal one. Geography, this is geography, right? Let's say I want to remember that in your database, let's say you have kept this data, right? Then you need that to be in your model. Okay, I think it's good enough for now, right? For our case today. Location. Okay, one more. Right, we want to keep a thumbnail. Right, later this history check-in, we have place a logo or something that we want to display on the list. Let's say, so we want to keep the location thumbnail. Right, thumbnail in Android is actually drawable, right? So it's an ID, it's an integer actually. It's something like r.id. something, right? So the drawable, right? So we can use integer to keep that. It's an integer actually, the resource ID, integer. So I can put integer thumbnail. It's an integer. Okay, so in order to indicate that it is a integer that represents a drawable, we can put a notation. Alias drawable resource. So the value is something like this later. r.id. For example, is the drawable, the thumbnail can be image, or whatever name that you give to in your XML layout, right? So the drawable in your history item later. Here we only have a text view, right? Later we can add in a image view. You understand what I mean? You can add in an image view here, and then you can put the ID. So the ID of this image view will be the one that you want to hold using this variable thumbnail. Thumbnail. We call it thumbnail. Okay, so I forget. Better to do all this as variable because we need to assign value to it. Instead of val, right? Variable. In Kotlin, we need to assign value to a variable, reassign value, right? Let's say in this case, I put initialization, right? Let's say you don't want to initialize to any value, you can put null, right? But you need to make it nullable, R, question mark. Can also, can also, depending on how you want to design your code, right? For this case, I assign some default value, right? You must know also sometimes you might want to know the better default value like date. Maybe you have to put the year like 1900/01/01, right? You can assign time or the location name, ABC or whatever, right? So the value, maybe latitude, longitude don't have 0. It's actually some value, right? Latitude, longitude, you can check. Okay, so for now we just keep it this way. Or you want to make it nullable, then you just assign a null first. You don't want to keep have a value, then you put a null, right? All of these you can put a null, and then put it nullable, right? Put question mark. For Java, don't have to, but for Kotlin, you have to put a question mark, right? Let us do it the same thing using data class. If you use data class, we have learned before in Kotlin, you can do something called data class. It's a shorter code. A data class is to make your code shorter. You don't have to have the body, right? Let's say the same parameter. Let me comment out this part. I just comment out so that it doesn't clash. Okay. So let's say you want to use data class, just put a data keyword, right? You can represent the same thing. You can represent the same thing like that. Comma, right? Just put it on new line, so easier. This is the constructor, the way you write. You can do this also. Location name, right? just put it in like that. Comma, remember the comma. It's just a constructor, right? That you declare. So it's a shorter way of writing a class. If your class doesn't have any function, your class only have property but no function, then this is a shorter way to write a Kotlin class. Or here you can put global, the annotation here. Like that. No semicolon. So this is a shorter way of writing the same class. It's still a history class, but it's using data class. Right? If your class doesn't have a function method inside the class, right? I can give you both example. This is because of Kotlin. But if you are using Java, then you don't do that. Java, you cannot do like that. Java, you always have to declare the full class like the one above. So let me comment out this part, and I use this one. Why you use the Java class body with the body? Because you may want to do some initialization. You may want to have some function, right? ABC, whatever. Let's say you want to have getter, setter function, then to do something on the property, then you need the body. But in our case, we don't have to for this example, then you can directly do like that. Or else you need to do like this. Right? So this is another way. Okay, so two ways. What is that data class? Oh, yeah. So I give you two different ways. So you learn and intelligently you apply to your project. You need to import this, right? Drawable resource alias from Android as annotation. When you put it into your Android Studio, you actually create for yourself itself. Right? You don't have to remember that. Okay, not done. The data class is done. Data class means this is a data model, right? That we want to keep our data in this structure. It's a structure. Data model is a structure of our data set of our data. Yeah. Okay, done. Close it. Close it. Right, done. You just remember you have all this data. We are not going to use all of them now. We are going to use only one location name for a start. But we do it, create it first. Create it first. Okay, history. Done. Right, done. Okay, now we want to do something called adapter. Right, after we do a bit more, then we'll stop for a short break. Okay, adapter. So we create a Java or Kotlin class again. It's a generic class. Adapter is not an activity or something like that. It's just a class. Right, we call it we can call it new Kotlin class again. Create a class. We call it, give you a special name. Adapter is the function, so you call it something adapter. Call it history adapter. Normally the convention is you put whatever you want to represent the name in front, capital letter, start with capital because it's a class. Right, history adapter. The file name also must be the same as the class name. History adapter. Right, this is the key part of any RecyclerView. Listen carefully. If you want to use it, do the RecyclerView correctly. This is the key, the most essential part of RecyclerView. Okay, we want to first of all to pass in a list to it because RecyclerView is a list, right? I said adapter is between the data and the view. The view is XML. These are the view. We have already done the view, right? RecyclerView done. The history, the adapter, every item, this is an item, the view of an item, right? We just put a text for now. The view of an item also done. So these two are the view. And then on the other side is the data. Later we do the data. In between, we need an adapter. So this is in between. We are going to use this class to adapt the data. So we construct it by passing in some lists, right? It's an array. We pass an array or array list also can. Not just array list also can. Array list is more flexible in Android, in Kotlin. You can extend the list, right? Array is fixed size. So just use array list history. History is a data model that we want to pass in, right? This is the history. So history, location. We call it location. The list we call it location later. Okay, we need to inherit from some superclass. This is a class that we inherit from a superclass, right? A library class. In other words, the library class. Our library class is actually the RecyclerView dot adapter. RecyclerView. We type it on another line better. Easier to read. Recycler. This is inheritance. Colon inheritance. Inherit from RecyclerView dot adapter. Right, and then put in the type. Okay, this one you need to import the library. All right, here is the type. What is the type of the adapter, the data that we're going to pass in? Right, so inside that, we have to put, as I told you just now, every list, right, need to have a view holder. So we call it history view holder. We just call it view holder, but we add in our own name called history. But this is not created yet. That's why red color, and also the line is red color because we haven't created it. The body is empty here. But no worry. So I give you this code first. Inherit from that RecyclerView.adapter class, right? And this is the type, the member of that adapter, right? Each of the member is a view holder. So we just use history adapter is this guy, right? This is the list. It's an adapter, history adapter that will hold the entire data set, right? Entire data set. And each of the data set will be held by one item. That item we call it view holder, history view holder. Okay, so this one red color. So just right click and create class, right? The second one. Right click, we want to create an internal class, the class inside the same class here, right? Internal class. So this would be another class inside your adapter class. Right click, create class, right? Don't extract to a separate file, so it will be inconvenient to manage because this is a small project. So we just put it inside the same history adapter. So if you right click, create history view holder, put it the second choice. Don't put into a separate file. For me, for convenience, I put in the same file. Right, so it's an internal class to this class. But it's not done yet. That's why red color, this error line. That's the view holder. Okay, not difficult, right? So far, so good, right? This is just a structure of the adapter. Every time it's the same. It's just when you create a different project, then your adapter is a different name. Your view holder is a different name, right? This one, why history adapter dot? Because this is an internal class, right? This history adapter is this class, the parent, and then the child is the history view holder. So dot, right? History adapter dot history view holder is referring to this class. This class you repeat many times for a RecyclerView. So the item that you are going to pass to the RecyclerView is actually multiple history view holder. So you are going to define history view holder here. Right? So you see here, red line, right click, just see what happens. Change to constructor invocation, don't have to. Don't. Oh yeah, correct. I forgot. This one should be bracket. Forgot to put a bracket. This one, right? Because this one got a bracket, right? Bracket. Right? History adapter. And then your superclass, when you inherit from a superclass, this is a class name, right? And then you also need a bracket. I forgot, bracket. You need to put a bracket. Okay, so not done yet. This one, history.adapter. This one, you need to implement two callback function. Callback function. Right click. Right. Oh, forgot to import. Let me see what the import. Actually, no need to do that. Just leave it like that because this one is in the same file. Oh, no need. Okay, here, let me see. Right click. Okay, implement members. History adapter, you need to implement members because you inherit from this. Right? This is an interface. Interface that you inherit. You actually implement, not inherit, implement. Interface. So you need to right click, show context, implement members. Right? There are 3 members that you need to implement. Let the code help you. Let the tool help you. So that you don't have to remember the code. Okay, you need to implement 3 functions actually under adapter. Every adapter also similar for this RecyclerView adapter. So the tool will help you. Okay, right click, show context action, implement members. Just click them first one by one. Select them one by one. It will create the code for you, the boilerplate code for you, template code. One by one, 2 more. Right? 1, 2, and the last one, 3. Sorry, no. Don't make the class abstract. It's not abstract class. It's a concrete class. Implement members. Because when it is abstract class, you don't have to implement, right? But this so-called interface has implementation, right? Interface is just the scheme. So object-oriented programming, when you have an interface, you need to implement all the function defined inside the interface. So this is the actual implementation that we're going to write. 3, on create view holder, which is this view holder. On bind view holder, so you create a view holder and then you bind the view holder. And last one is get item count. So we are going to delete all the to do. We are going to write the code inside there. So for now, we have this done. Still haven't done fully. That's why you have some error line there. So don't worry about that. We are going to do something in the body of the function to make it workable, to make it functional. So for now, just let it be with the error line and so on. Introduce import alias. Let me see anything need to do to solve that. Okay, let me right click this one. By import. Import. But it's still the same. Actually, no need. Don't do that. It's not the problem. Anyway, later we see how to solve that. Okay, so this is the class, right? History view holder. And then the one by one, we are going to write code for this. Right? But before that, we also need to prepare the data. Right? The data is on the other side, right? So the data for this example, for now, for the first time, we just add some values into string. Let's go to the string file, strings.xml. Inside string, you can actually create array. You can call it array, string array. Sorry, string array dash, like that. Give it a name. Right, you call it, for now it's location, right? Locations. We can do a string array. Static, this is dummy data. Item, each string array we can have an item. The name is called, like, first one maybe is SMUN Malaysia campus. Maybe another item somewhere near McDonald. Maybe there's a McDonald there. And then somewhere there, maybe there's a train station or something like that. Just a few name, location name. Okay, so let's say we want to list out 3 only. Right, so you can create a string array inside your resources. Resources is a value, right? Inside your values folder, strings, right? You can directly put it into the strings. So we can read it from this data set later. Just for now, we just statically apply some data to our app. We try to just read from a static data file. For you, you can just list it, write a few name there, additional few name. I give you the example. Right, a few example. Just leave it there. Okay, so come back. After we have done the data, this is the data we are going to read later. Right, so we are going to define one by one. One by one. Okay, the constructor, right, must follow the format of the constructor, right? Must follow the format also. So there is this constructor also has to inherit, right? Inherit from. Okay, let us pass in the view, right? Because later we need to tie it to a view. Right, a view with item view, if not mistaken. Let me check. Oh, it's a view. No need. We call it item view lah, the variable. So it's a view. The view is actually this view. This view, right? The history item, just now we declared history underscore item, right? So this is the view. So we need to pass in this view to the layout, to the adapter later, to bind it. So I need to pass in the variable. So just import the view class. View. Right? You inherit, right? You inherit also, right? You inherit from the RecyclerView view holder. Right, this is RecyclerView.adapter. For each of the item, right, it's also inherited from RecyclerView.view holder class. And then just pass this variable when you construct to your superclass. Right, you see, once you write that, no more error. So this is a constructor for the view holder. Each view holder will hold an item view. Right, each view holder will hold an item view. So this one, the constructor inside your history adapter. First thing, for your history view holder, you have to construct the view holder. Right, this view holder inherit also. Right, not inherit, sorry, implement. This is implementation, this interface. So this is also an interface. The constructor for the view holder. Right, okay, so what do we do inside the constructor? We need to construct the view, to find the view, find view by ID. Remember, we have to find view by ID. So for now, our view has only one item, right? One ID. So we just find this view lah. So this is called location. Right, the view, So our view holder has only one item, one view, right? So we just find here val. It's called location text view, right? It's a text view. Okay, let me change the name. Easier for us to remember, right here. Let's change the ID. TV, so that we know it's a text view, text view. TV underscore location, right? TV location name, just make it name. Location name. You can name anything you want, but for me, I make it a bit easier to remember. This text view is TV text view location name. Right, so I copy this. In the code, I use the same as the variable name. So equals to find view by ID. I'm going to find the text view. It's a text view, right? So find view by ID. Oh, sorry, I have to use this. Item view dot find by ID. Remember, because we passed the view in. So item view, find view by ID, bracket r dot ID dot this one. TV. Just like I changed the name, right? TV location name. This text view is a type, it's a class, so I need to import. Right, import it. Import the text view, Right, so here. When you construct the view holder, that view holder, the item view, then whatever you have inside text view, you will have to bind it later. You will have to bind the data to the view. So for now, we just have one. So just find that view by ID. r.id.tv underscore location underscore name. Right, so this is the for the constructor. 可以吗？可以跟吗？ Can follow or not? Can or not? Can, right? Not difficult. Later, when you add in more view here, view items here, right? When you drag and drop, you draw. We draw an image view. Let's say we want to draw an image, right? Let's say here image. So you just add additional code inside the find view by ID there, right? So for now we don't do that. Don't touch that first, right? So done. So we still have 1, 2, 3 more function to actually to implement before we can run the program. Can test the program. Okay, let's have a short break, 5 minutes. 4:30 already, 1.5 hour. Right? Without the camera, it's better, right? My computer runs faster. Okay, so 5 minutes break. 5 minutes break, and then after that we come back. Just take a break now to digest what I told you just now. All right, so we'll come back and implement these three. Just now we have done this one, the constructor or the history adapter. Still got incomplete code. That's why you see the error. You see the error because it's not complete. So we have to do a bit more. Right, 5 minutes break. Okay, after that we start. Thank you. See you later.
Students, let's continue, huh? Okay, so that we don't have to drag beyond 6 p.m. All right, okay, so on create view holder, okay, what do we do when we create the view holder? Want to bind it on create view holder, because view holder is actually referring to history item layout. Every view holder is one item, the layout for one item. So when you first create the view holder, what do we do? What do we need to do? We need to actually create the layout. So we need something called inflator. Inflate the layout. Inflate. So that inflator layout code is something like this. This directly correct. We want to inflate using layout inflator. Now we want to inflate the layout, right? And passing in the parent. The parent is the view group, which is the whatever that hold the history item. In this case, our view group, the parent is actually the recycler view. Understand? You have a recycler view as the main container. They have many view holder. Right, view holder, the view is called history item. So you have multiple history item in one recycler view. So in the code, right, the parent is actually referring, the view group is referring to that recycler view. And attached to root, what does it mean by attached to root? This one I also forget. What is it? Let me check. I also forget already. Attached to root, we set it to false. I think the attached to root is, let me check the reason. Why is it false? Or the it's a parameter for the layout inflator. Inflated hierarchy should be attached to the root parameter if false root is only used to create the correct subclass of their parameters. Check. I'm checking on Stack Overflow. Oh, okay, understand. When you use attached to root, okay, the false and true. What does it mean by false and true? I put in this. Right, when you attach the root, when you say true, true, you add the child view to the parent right now, but not, we're not adding it straight away. Right, we are adding it later. Not now. That's why I put false. That's why I put false. So this history item is not directly now attached to the parent. Parent is the view group, which is the recycler view, referring to the recycler view. So this is the code. You have to put in this to your own create view holder. You have to inflate the view, right? Inflator, it's not just like when you are in the main activity, we have something called set content view, right? Something like this, the purpose, right? Content view, you inflate the view. Inflate means 吹把它吹出来，把它整个气球这样吹出来，把它开出来。history adapter. So you open up the history item view, right? r.layout.history item, which is this item. Right, then you need to return, right? You need to return a object right here, right? The history, the function, right? On create view, you need to return the view holder object. So after we inflate, right? We return, we return the variable, right? We assign the whatever you inflate to the view, right? So this view we need to return, right? History view holder. Okay, we are. You have this history view holder object, right?
here, right? You are going to passing a view, right, to it, history view holder, to construct it, right? This is a constructor, right? So we need to pass back this one to the program. And then the view is actually this guy, just passing the view. Huh? Because this one expect to return, huh? So this function expect a return value. The return value is actually a history view holder object, right? So we construct a history view holder object, right? Based on this constructor. And this constructor expects to have a view as the input parameter, input argument. So that input argument is a view. So we just pass this whatever inflated the view object, pass it to the history view holder object and return. Okay, understand the code? So we need to return a view holder object. This one is not inheritance. This is for function. This column means return object, return variable, right? Return. Okay, next on bind view holder. So now we want to bind. Bind the content. The content is on the layout, right? Like text view, this content. We want to bind it to the view holder object, right? This content, this is the view. So I want to do the binding here. So before we do the binding, we have to define a function called bind function inside the just now the constructor, the constructor. So let's go back to the constructor and write a function there. Yeah, right? So we want to do a bind function here. Right, we want to bind data to the view. The view we have already get the view ID. Right, this one, the view object. Fine, we call it bind. Then we pass in the data. The data come from here, right? So we pass in the data, which is location. Right. The type is actually array list history. Okay, so here is the body, right? Passing the data. Oh, sorry, not the whole list, just one of the item, because this is view holder. View holder is only for one item. So let's say this is history locations, S. So we put a location here, singular, single item. So this is a history item. So if this is an array list of history, and this is a history, this object, array list is a list of history object, and here we only take one object, location. Okay, now we want to bind, right? So this item's text, right? Text location name is a text view, right? Dot text is equals to these items. You have to refer back to the history object. History object, just now we created a history object, right? Right, which one? Location name, right? We want to connect the data, the location name to the text view, right? The text view, the location name there. Why we bind them together? This value, history object, the location name. So what we do is inside here, we just dot location name. Understand? Right? Alright, so we bind it for now. We just bind one. The rest we didn't touch. We didn't do it. Later we will add in all this. Right? Okay, location name. So bind already, right? So once you bind, right, inside the RecyclerView constructor, you create the bind function. So this is when you construct, then you actually initialize this function, the bind function inside the constructor. Right, bind function. Oh, sorry, I think I pressed the wrong one. Oh, yeah, bind function there, bind function. Right, the bind function in the check. Always the code I want to share with you, I put in the check. Okay, let me close my camera for a while so that the program doesn't slow down. Okay, so now we have done the function bind, right? So we are going to call the bind function here. On bind holder is a place where we call this function, the bind function. So we passing, you see by default, this function actually passing the holder, the history view holder object, which is the holder, and the position, right? And you know that this is an array, right? So array has a position. So we want to bind it to the right item because there are so many items. Item 1, item, right? Maybe each item have to match. Item 1 to the view holder 1, item 2 to view holder 2, item 3 to view holder 3. So we call that when we pass in the onBind view holder, this holder object, right? This holder object that will return from the inflator. This is called first. Right? This is a first this is the first call. First function call when you create a view holder, and then this when you construct, right? You construct, you do the view, and then you construct the object, right? This is the second one call. Second call, right? And then the last one called is this one. Third call. It's not last, but third call. It's a callback method. So by event driven. So it's not called straight away. So the system will actually call it according to the timing. When the view holder needs to be created, then you call this first. Create it first, and then construct it, and then finally bind it. So during this binding, only one line of code that we need to do. This holder object, right? The bind function. This bind function is actually this bind function. You are calling this bind function based on the holder object. So we call it the bind function. And then we pass in what? We need to pass in the current value of the history. Right? We have multiple lists. So one of the values, right? The current value, because this view holder is going to be do multiple times. Because a recycler view has maybe 1, 10, 20, 30, 100 view holder, right? So it will be created multiple times. So at this moment in time, when we bind the variable, this variable, right? Location, the list. And then it's an array list. So the position is the index. Right? You bind the, accidentally click position. This position ID is an index 1, 2, 3. Start from 0, array list 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say you have 5 member of the locations, right? Locations here, right? You'll be buying one by one. Location 0, location 1, location 2 to the view holder one by one. So you will bind, right? Each of them will be bound based on this, right? The text value of the text view of the item view, the view holder will be bound to the value of the location name, of the data. Okay, get item count is to return how many value, the size of the location. So we just need to return locations. This guy, the array. This is an array list or array. You can fix array list, right? Dot size, the size of it. So this callback is very simple. It's a system callback by the view, the so-called the adapter callback method. That will just return the size of the array. You just want to know the size. We don't fix it. You can return an integer, any integer. But if you put 4, then we'll almost always have 4 only. For now, it depends on the size. So the list have 4 size, depending on the size of the location array. And our location array, the array we have 3. 3 later, only 3. Okay, so this one will be 3. For this case, will be 3, return 3 later. Okay, done. The adapter is done. This is how you construct an adapter for your recycler view. Just now, let me switch to the diagram again. Let me show you the diagram. RecyclerView adapter. So I show you a diagram, right? Remember, in the early part, I can give you that diagram so that you can remember forever how to understand the idea. Let me switch to that. Right, if you come to this, yeah, Google, I always like to use Google Image because this one can help you to understand better. Right, we don't need a book actually. All these are better than the book. Okay, okay, this is the diagram, right? Just now I show you, right? This is almost the same as our example just now, right? So we have done the adapter part. Adapter part is to adapt data, right? We are going to create an array list to have all the data set. Now we just have a string array. So each of the string is going to be attached to each of the view holder. So you have many view holders S. You see the arrow is pointing to each of the view holder. So just now the code in the adapter is to bind one by one. In our case, only a text view. Bind the value of the shown on the text of the text view to the data value, the string, one by one. So this view holder. So the callback method to do that is actually the on bind view holder, on create view holder. Now we have to create the view holder first, construct the view holder, and after that bind it. Bind means 把它讲讲啊，中文。Bind means you connect it together. Connect it together. Okay, so we are going to complete the project already. So let's move to the last part of it, the main activity. Activity now. The adapter is done. So the last part will be on the main activity. Because the recycler view is on the main activity, right? This is in the main activity. The last one is to construct the data set and then pass it to the recycler view. Pass it to the recycler view. So let's close all the string, all the file, source code, close all the tabs, except main activity. Okay, first thing, we want to get the data from the data source. Right, we want to get the data from the data source. Right, so data is there, sitting there already in our file. String is a file. Get data from the data source. Right, which is the file, strings.xml. Later, I'll show you how to write it in the code also. We can do it in the code also. Right, so how to get the data from the data source? Right, so we declare a array list first. Right, we declare an array list. Call it locations. So these locations is going to pass data to this location later. Yeah, it expects an array list. So what we do is just create this array inside the code. Right, declare it. And then we need to initialize. Right, this one, we need to initialize it to the value. Right, we want to get the value. So the function to get the value is get resources because it's a resource. Right, you look at this. Anything under this drawable layout, map values, and especially this string, right, is a resource. Resource is anything that is not source code, not layout, not source. Layout is a resource also. Layout is also a resource. So we want to get this from this string array. Is a location variable. Is called location. So what we do is just get resource function. It's a getter. No need for this is Kotlin. Kotlin. Let me see. It's a Kotlin, so we don't need to get. It's a resources. Kotlin and Java is different. Resources dot get string here string array. Because it's a string array, so you just get the string array, right? And then the value is actually locations. So this locations, the name. Just pass in this one. Pass in this one into your function. The ID, no need the string. Let me check. Oh, sorry, it's an ID. So we cannot do like that. Have to put an ID. Right, it's an ID. So array dot locations. Need to pass in the location. What happened? Change type of location to array. It's an array. Cannot use array list, because if we want to use this string array, it's an array. It's not an array list. So in order to accommodate this, only for this purpose, later we can change. Okay, only for this purpose where you want to keep the data in this format, string array is an array, it's not an array list. So what happened is this one must be an array. Actually, you can put like that. Doesn't matter. Array string. Array. So we need to go to the adapter and change. This one just change it to array. It's the same now. It's just a matter of type, data type. Array list better actually. But for this case, because we want to hold the data as a string array, this one must be array. This is an array. So we have to go to the history adapter, change this array list to be array. So that it can match the type that we are going to pass into the adapter later. So this is get string array. Get string array is a corresponding function for you to get this string array at this variable location. Right, so resources. This is like in Java, it's called get resources. Java is like that. Java is like that. Get resources. Bracket is a getter function of the class dot. This one. In Java, if you do Java. Right, so the Java variable is like that. Array string. That is in Java. For us doing Kotlin is like that. Okay, now we have get the data, right? This is the data. Right, we get the data from the string already. Okay, the next thing is we want to get the view of the RecyclerView, right? So RecyclerView, every time we want to access the RecyclerView, right? Just now I said we have an ID. We have an ID for the RecyclerView. So what we do is for the RecyclerView now, we want to just get the find view by ID. RecyclerView, we call it RecyclerView, right? RecyclerView goes to find view by ID RecyclerView. And then our dot ID dot, the value is, the ID is actually RecyclerView, right? Just use this ID, put here. Right, so this one you have to import. The class have to import. RecyclerView. Almost done, almost done. Okay, so now the last one is to set the adapter, right? This is the data, this is a view. I told you, right? You have two part, data and the view. So who is in the middle? The adapter, right? So the adapter, how the adapter comes into picture. All right, so now you need to, this RecyclerView has an adapter, right? This object dot adapter. Then you create the data set, right? Use the adapter, right? The adapter is called history adapter. History adapter. So in the middle, right? History adapter. And passing in the aspects, the input parameter is actually location, right? So this array, this array of string, just pass this value in. Wait, let me check. Why is it so? Mismatch. Oh, sorry, history. It's not string, history. Sorry. It's a history. The data type is history. Array history, so it's history. So you cannot do like that straight away. Cannot. This is history. So what we do is this one is will only pass the how to say the let me see. Okay, for this example, only. So this one change it to string easier. For now only. For now. Then later we change it back to history because now we haven't construct the entire object. Right? We haven't construct the entire object with all these other value. If you use history, you also need to pass all these value in. latitude, longitude, thumbnail, and so on. Right? For now only, we assume we are handling just array of string. Array of string. So here we need to change it to, let me see, locations. Anything that I have to change here? Change anything that we need to change. For now, for now we need to. We are going to handle only the using string. Okay, this one. Location. Here. This one need to change. When we bind, this is just a string. We're passing a string. So just pass the string in. Right? It's not an object. For now, we just deal with a string. Because we are only having a static string. Right? Later you'll see I can adjust it back. For now, we just test it first. String. And here is a string. So just pass the value of the string to the text. It's an array of strings. Right? So by changing that, the adapter slightly, and then in the main activity, we can deal with it easier. Just an array of string. Right? You work. So you work. Right? But before that, right? Because this is already done, the code. This is to adapt the data to the RecyclerView, right? Using adapter. The adapter. So we have done, right? But in between, actually, we need to also define the layout. How you want to lay out? Just now I say, right? RecyclerView can be linear, vertical, horizontal, can be grid layout, right? Can be grid, can be linear, horizontal, and so on. Right? So we want to define that layout, right? So layout. So we can actually use the layout manager. So this RecyclerView, before we actually complete this code, we just configure this RecyclerView object dot layout manager. Layout manager, this one. Layout manager. And then we equals, right? We construct a layout manager for it. So for our case here, this example here, we are going to just do a linear layout manager. Linear layout manager. So it's a linear layout manager. It's a class, right? That you need to import. Right? Import. Linear layout manager. The widget. Under the RecyclerView widget class. The one that will import into the library, into the dependency just now. All right, this one. We import this one, linear layout manager. Okay, so this is linear layout manager have 3 parameters. The first one is this. Just the context is this RecyclerView, this, right? So just put this. The second one is actually the orientation. Is it vertical? Is it horizontal or something like that? Right? For this example, we are going to use the vertical. Later we can change that to horizontal and see what happens. So use this linear layout manager, one of the constant dot vertical. Use vertical. And then comma. Hey, what happened here? Too many arguments for public constructor. Let me see. The complete one, you should have one more, which is the last one is reverse layout force. Reverse layout force. Okay, done. 1, 2, 3 parameters for this linear layout manager. Right? This and this one you can change. Horizontal, there will be horizontal. For now, we are vertical, vertical first. And then force, reverse layout, reverse the other way around. So reverse is force. We follow the sequence. So reset, adapter. Okay, it should work now, by now. Okay, these are the code that you need to add into your own create method. When your activity is first created, you want to do the initialization of your RecyclerView and populate your RecyclerView with the data. This is the data you read from the resources, the array of string. Right, so I give you this part. If you cannot follow, it's okay. You watch the video again later. Huh? Get the idea first. Huh? The idea is quite okay if you understand what I'm talking about now. Right? All these are just the steps. Right? Once you understand view holder, you understand view, you understand data, and then this is the last part that you glue them together. In the activity that you want to show the recycler view, you basically just adapt the data to the view. And then this is just a configuration. Now you configure how your layout should look like. It's a vertical layout. So basically vertical layout. Right? So okay, let's run. Let's run and test. Now once you have this done, right, and all the history item done, this one is not done used yet. We have declared, but we haven't used it. Right? We are going to modify the code to use it. After this version is correct and running, then we are going to enhance it. Enhance it. This is another project that I did before. Not this one. The one that is going to show is not this one. Because the string that we show is only this three. One is going to show this three string on the list in a while. We can extend this list so that it can scroll up and down. Right? Wait for a while. For my screen is still running. It's still building the gradle is still building. Okay, you can also test already. If you follow exactly and there is no error, right? It should work. It should work. With the adapter, which passes array of string to it. Right? It should work. We still have about 1 hour, so we can still enhance it, right? And then make it into a proper one with thumbnail and so on. So it takes a while to build, right? So it's a bit slow. Still building, it's still building. Let's wait for a while. Because this is the first time we build, right? Because there is no APK built before, just now, right? So this is a new project. So once we build one time, it'll be faster, right? It'll be faster. And you build and install onto the emulator. Any questions so far? Understand? The concept, you get that concept first. Concept right first. The sample project I can give you right later. Once this is running correctly, I can give you. Any question? 有问题吗？你知道我讲的整个概念吗？做 RecyclerView 它的概念the concept, you must know what are the components there. You need an adapter. You need a data model to hold the data in certain format. Right, that data you are going to link the data and the view, right? Inside the view is your recycler view, right? You link them up together inside your activity of fragment that you want to develop the recycler view. So depending on where your recycler view is, so you do this part in that activity. Okay, it's loading. Hey. Oh, I think we got ready. It's shown already. Just that you see, what is the problem? You see, the every text will actually occupy one full screen, right? Because our item, forget already, the item, history item, history item, we forget to change this. The height, the history item, this one. History item cannot match parent. Match parent meaning one item will occupy one screen. You see, you can scroll. Right? Three item. SWE401 Malaysia campus, McDonald, train station, right? Is it because these three, right? Because why? Because we forgot to change this one layout for the relative layout, the one that hold the item, right? Match parent. This one shouldn't match parent. It should be wrap content. Wrap content. Wrap content. Remember, change this. The item history item XML. Wrap content, then only it doesn't cover the full screen. Okay, here, let us make the text larger, so that it's easier to see. Size, text size. I purposely make it larger lah. So I just for this purpose, I make it adding SP. Adding SP to see a larger text. Just to demo. Right? Make it larger and change this. Okay, let me run again. I forgot, right? This one, the red content. Cannot be match parent. Otherwise, you'll see this kind of condition. Student, okay, can understand. Can you understand? Okay, now is showing. Right, showing. Not this one, the other one. It's still loading. Right, it's still installing, launching. Right, okay, Sienna. Listed out, just the text. We can make it nicer. Okay, now let's say if you want to see more, whether can scroll or not, just duplicate this one, duplicate more. Let's say I don't want to type, I'm lazy to type. I just put in more, create more. Right? I want to see the scrolling effect. This is a recycler view, right? Okay, so put a bit more item. Yeah, so I run again. So you should be able to scroll up and down. So build again, and launch again. It'll be faster now because it's already launched. Not yet, not yet. Still launching. Installing. All right, so I can scroll. See? Can scroll. Okay, now we are going to change this, right? Rather than a text, we are going to create some thumbnail to make it nicer, to look like a history list. So first of all, we need to add a card view. We do something like a card view there inside the project. The card view. So in order to do a card view, we need to add the dependency also, a card view dependency. You know what card view, right? The card view is just a nicer border because our text now is attached fully on the list, right? It's not nice. We have to make a card view to have a card view there. So we just go to the build.creator again. All right, just put in this card view dependency. Card view. All right, card view, Okay, add in, Okay, if you want to see whether this card view, Android X again, the card view, whether it is outdated or not, we try to see project structure. Go to project structure, click on the app card view here, right? Here, cut view, right? 1.0.0, it is latest one, huh? No worry, huh? 1.0.0 is the latest one. But they are alpha older version. This is the older version, huh? Alpha, beta, RC1, RC2. So we are using actually already the latest version. So no need to update anymore. Huh? Right, this is the latest version. Okay, what is the cut view? Okay, cut view need to add in some. Let's go to the history item. Right, history item, relative layout, right? So under this relative layout, right, we want to close this relative layout. Let us see first, if you change anything. Okay, this recycler view, relative layout, we need to enclose it with a cut view. So you can put a cut side. Huh? So what we do is I can just do a cut view here. Just look for the tag. I also cannot remember. I just put Android X dot something cut view. Okay, doesn't show. Doesn't show. Okay, let me go to the code. I got the code. It doesn't show, so I have to. Normally I go to the website. Oh, okay, small letter. It's not capital. It should be small. Android X dot cut view. Huh? Nah, here. Huh? Android X dot cut view dot widget dot cut view. Huh? Okay, so cut view, right? So the cut view should be width should be match parent. Huh? The height should be wrap content. Don't match parent. Should be wrap content. Like this one. Wrap the content as high as the content. Okay, what happened is this cut view, we cannot have two parent, right? This guy, relative layout that we have done earlier, cut and be part of the component here. We still need additional some this one, the XML. Oh, sorry, this is not. We need to put Android. Android. Namespace has to be always on the outermost. 最外面，不可以放在里面啊。This namespace must be on the outermost parent. Just put it here. So you move it. Just now it's here, right? Just now was here. 才在这里，对吗？不可以放在里面啊。You must put it outside. So you move it outside the outermost view. Okay. Understand? Can, right? The namespace. So you put it outermost. So cut view become the parent now. So whatever you do inside the recycler view, the text view is inside. Okay, one more. We want to add some additional so-called the attributes to make it nicer, to look nicer, and so on. So I'll give you the code. So it takes a bit of time to do the formatting and so on. So basically, okay, we need this namespace also, the app, to do the cut view background, cut view corner, radius. We want to do a bit of radius and elevate it a bit up so that it's 3D. The cut view look a bit 3D. And then the maximum is 5. Just put 5, no need to be 2. Z, this is a Z index. And then the cut prevent corner overlap through use compact. Okay, just follow this. Okay, but we need to add this namespace. So what we do is we need to add this namespace onto our XML namespace. So that is defined. The app is defined, right? So it's this namespace actually. So I can give you this full code, right? This full one. So the relative layout is inside, and then your cut view is the parent. So you just add in this to your code. Right, understand now? So basically your cut view become the parent. So if you look at the outcome in the view is like that. But this one we need to change a bit so that it's not like 10 dp. This is a cut view. See the cut view, right? It's a bit of elevated with shadow. You see the shadow, right? If you put more of this, right? Let's say 20. Put 20, then the cut view have much shadow.
You can see shadow. Radius is the corner, huh? Radius maybe put 5 is good enough. This one 20, let's say, we put 20. 20 elevation. The shadow, too much, right? Too much of the shadow, right? Too much of elevation, right? So just change it to 5 again, the cut view. So the rest is up to you. You want to configure the background and so on. Okay, so now, right? So this guy, the text view, we want to modify this part. So now this one, the margin, let's remove first. The margin, and let's remove the margin. Remove the margin. Right? You exactly stick at the so-called the cut view. Okay, now we want to add one thumbnail to the in front, thumbnail image view. Right? Image view. Just put a thumbnail there. Okay, a square thumbnail. Let's just try an error. Maybe put 50 dp for the width and height. All right, we can choose find a icon to be listed there. Right, this is like image. It's an image. Right, so there's an image there. Right, because it's relative layout, you see overlap. So what we do is we want to adjust this. This is a title, right? Title of the location. What happened is this is the thumbnail. So what happens is we need to, this image we anchor. Meaning this image we have to copy this one, cut this one. Align parent start, align parent top is no more the text view. It's now the thumbnail, which is the parent attached to the start and the top. Right? Then it's like that. You can see, so this one text view relatively we want to move it to the right of this image view, right? To the right, so that it doesn't overlap, because we are using a relative layout. Relative layout. So Android, so to the right of this one. Right? This image view is to the right of this. Right? This text view is to the right of the image view. So what happened here is you need to give it an ID. ID. Give it an ID so that you can recognize it. Right? So this image view we call it thumbnail. Right? Thumbnail. Right? So this thumbnail become the neighbor. The neighbor to the right of that view. To the right of yes, to the right. This text view is to the right of image view. So you can see, yeah. Now it is to the right. See or not? Right, to the right of the title, the location name, to the right of the thumbnail. Okay, so let's choose something for the thumbnail. We don't have any nice icon, right? For this example, I just create any icon. Right, let's say I go to I create a new vector asset. Right, just create something. For you don't have to follow mine, so you can create your own. I just simply choose an icon. Let's say this is home. I show a home icon there just for convenience. In real example, you should do an image. You should go and get an image from somewhere, right? From your database, you should get a thumbnail image, right, and put it there. For this case, I just search for an icon that can put it there. For this demo, for demo. Okay, wait, okay, I just choose this one, the home. I use home, Okay, the name I use IC home. So it's an image, black color, black color image, black color vector asset from clipart. Next, finish. Right. So now I have a IC home, so which looks like this. IC home. So what I do is I just attach this to my thumbnail for now. Right, this one, the thumbnail. I just go to the code. Right, this thumbnail image viewer. Okay, this one is there's no content the body, so I just put this and to close it. No need to put it the closing tag. Okay, so now I want to attach it to that thumbnail. SRC source drawable. Right, from the drawable folder IC home. right? So you can see it's here. Huh? Right, they are too near together, right? To the so-called the card view, and also they are sticking together. So we can add some margin. Add some margin. So we can add some margin to the image view. So all the four sides of the margin of the image view, I just add some margin. Or maybe I put 5 dp. 5 dp. So you can see around the image there are some space here now. There are some space, 5 margin, 5 dp margin. 5 dp margin. All right, understand? Put some margin. So let's assume this is a margin for now. Okay, we want to, for our data structure, right? We want to display not only the ID, normally we don't display. This is just to keep there to remember which ID. Okay, location name we display already, which is this one. Location name, right? Let's say we display one more. I'll make it simple, but actually you can do as many as you want. Now we have also thumbnail, right? Thumbnail, right? There is going to store the ID of the thumbnail later, right? And display to show it. Okay, so here latitude, longitude for now, for today, we just don't do so many. You can design your own for your assignment. I just do one, check-in date and the location name. So I will comment out this one. I don't want it to be in my class so that easier for me. Later, I don't need to assign so many things. Okay, the time also I check-in date. I just use the check-in date for the demo. Right? Let's say check-in time also I don't display. I just comment for now. Doesn't mean it's not important. It's just that I want to make the demo faster. Right? So I just comment out this one, comment out this one. This one ID actually not really needed for this example. So the location name, check-in date, and also the thumbnail, only three property. Okay, so on the history item XML, I want to create one more text view to display the date, the check-in date. I just place it here. Right, it's a relative layout, remember? So I need to define the relative layout, the text view, this one, for the date. I call it check-in date. Right, check-in date. Okay, if you cannot follow, it's okay. I'll give you this, but I just a bit faster. I do a bit faster. Change date. Right, just now this guy, location name, right, is on the right of the thumbnail, right? So the text view, the change date is also on the right. I can just copy this one. This one I remove, right? All this remove, auto-generated remove. Right, the text I put a sample date. For example, today, 2022. Let's say the date format is like this. 今天是5月9号 09/05/2022. Let's say this is your date format, the string. And then I put in this to the right. And this thumbnail, this text, check-in date is also below the location name, right? Relative layout, you can actually add another one to place it to the right location below. Layout below. To the right of thumbnail, below the location name. Layout below the location name. So you can see it is correctly placed. It's below. But if you want to format it nicer, you want to adjust a bit down, right, to put a bit margin between this and this, right? You can put, you can just add a margin, whether you add the margin top for this or you add the margin bottom for the location name, right? You work the same. So let me put in some margin. Margin top. So margin top, maybe 10 dp. Margin to the top guy, the one on top is 10 dp. Right, so you can see it's nicer now. Nicer, look nicer. Right, adjust it accordingly. All right. Okay, let's complete it like that first for now. So these are only the 3 that I'm going to display. The name, check-in date, and also the thumbnail. Right, the view is already done. Huh? The view is already done. This one. The view is already done with the correct positioning and so on formatting. Huh? Okay, let me give you this code. You can have your own adjustment. Huh? But this is the example. So we are going to work on this one. Okay, now the view is done. The view put aside. So delete or close, not delete, close all the file. Close. Right, we need to go to the adapter. Remember just now, adapter is a string, right? Now no more, it's not a string anymore. It's a history object. We go to the adapter. Can you follow? We have to change something here because here only have location name. So we need to add the date and the thumbnail here. So we come here. Now we are going to pass in a history object. So this history object also is not a string here already, right? Location is a history object. All right? Can just change this one and change this one. All right. And this location now we are accessing the history object name, this variable, right? Location name. So here dot location name. So we can assign the value to the text. Right? We have two more, right? Two more on the history item, which is not only this, we have the thumbnail and we have the chain date. Right? So we repeat this. We have to get the value. Thumbnail, right? Thumbnail is the same code. Just find a different thing, right? Find view by ID, and then we are finding the thumbnail is actually a image view, right? Image view, and then r.id.thumbnail. Thumbnail. So this is imported. To import. Okay, just repeat. Okay, one more is the date, right? Check-in date. Just now in the layout, right? What is the name? Check-in date, right? So this one check-in date. We just follow the same names, the ID and the variable, so it's easier for us to code later. We just use the same variable. And item view dot find view by ID. It's a string text view. This one is a text view. Right? So r.id dot check-in date. Okay. Done. Three of them. Okay, now down there, right? In the bind, we need to bind one by one. Right? Bind one by one. So this guy, thumbnail, dot, not the text, set resource. Set image resource. Right? We have to set the resource, the image there, the drawable. Right? And then here, passing this value. It's a value like this. Later, drawable resource. So thumbnail, right? So passing that location is from the variable, the history object, location dot thumbnail. Okay. The last one, check-in date, is similar to location name. So it's just like repeat text equals to location dot the date. This one, check-in date, which is based on your data model, history check-in date. Can bind already. So this is the constructor. Okay, then when we call the constructor, right? This one no need to change. It's still the same. Create the history view holder. You just inflate the history item. Okay, so on bind view holder, right? This one you need to do a bit more. Sorry, wait. On bind view holder, no need to do, because this one you pass the entire object, right? So you do it here. You do it here. So actually no need to have much changes already. Right, it's done. It's done. All right. So the history adapter done. Right, just change it to object, history object, and then this one history object, and just find the value accordingly. So So I give you this part. Now this is a constructor inside the constructor. So this tree. 可以明白吗？好，其实只是改罢了，用那个 object， 它有不同的 member。These are called member variable. Oh, these are the member variable. Why I comment out this one? Because I'm lazy to do so many. On my layout, I only have 3 lah. I just want to demo it works. This way. Okay. Supposedly you want to put date, time, latitude, longitude, display everything there also can. Up to you. This image you can get from some image. You draw some picture and then put it there as a picture also can. Right? So done. The adapter is done. Okay, now we move to the activity. Main activity. So what do we need to change? Here, this one. Just now we get all the string, right? Here. Now we cannot do this way already. Because this one can only store one-dimensional data. One dimension, meaning one string. Right? You have 3. You have thumbnail, you have name, you have also the date. So we want to create an object. So what we do is we comment out this part. Just comment. Not comment. Just don't delete comment. So you next time you can still refer. Okay, we are not going to read from the string array. We are going to create the object ourselves. Create the object. Okay, so we can create an object called locations. Just the same. But now it is an array list. Now we can use array list. So we call it the type is history. Right, array list. And then we can initialize it, right? Using it's an array list. So if you read the Kotlin code, array list, you have a constructor called array list. Small letter, constructor, off. Right, array list off. Right, you put in the bracket. So you can put data here. Let's create one by one. Just dummy data. History object. One by one. So the history object, right? We are going to, no parameter. Okay, it should be like this. Mistaken should be like this. Right, history object. Follow this format. History object. Right, location name, date, and the thumbnail. So we just put in location name. Right, so this is too many arguments for public constructor history. Okay, wait. Hey, how to do this already in Kotlin? Wait, I forget already. In Kotlin, how to create that object? Oh, okay. If we use data class, is easier. This one is like if we do like that, let me see. Okay, we can still do. We want to initialize, right? You create an object like this, empty. This is an empty one. Empty one. And then we can actually, because it's an array list. Array list has a function called add. And then you add a history object. History object, right? Have history object to construct with 3 parameters. The first one is location name, right? Campus. Comma. The second one is it doesn't work this way. Constructor. Okay, I think we changed the code for the history. Easier. So instead of doing this, right, we use the data class. Comment out this part. Use data class is easier actually. So I don't want the integer. I don't want the date, the time. I don't want the latitude, longitude. Just comment out. Right, just comment out this 4. Right, and then left with location name, check-in date, and thumbnail. This is part of the constructor, the constructor in the bracket. Right, so by doing this, easier to do the object. We can do like that actually. By doing that in the data class. plus. So we can construct that data history by construct the object one by one like that. So the first one, the location name, right? Location name is SMUM Malaysia campus. Or for example, I just do a quick one, comma, right? You can put it line by on the different line easier. The second one is a date, right? The date, check-in date. Let's say it's 2022. We use this format, right? Up to you, right? It's a string. Assuming your database, right? This one in real case you need to read from database. But for today's example, we hard code in the code dummy data. Okay, then the third one is a thumbnail, right? Thumbnail, we use the same thumbnail. Home, no ID, drawable, dot IC home, right? This image, right? It's in the drawable. It's a drawable image, under drawable, so we can get it directly. You can put in our dot drawable dot IC home. Okay, and then comma, create another object, just copy and paste. Right, let's say this one we change it to McDonald. We create another object, right, of the type history, McDonald, the same date, same icon, right, comma, another one, right? This one is, let's say, KLIA or whatever so shop whatever, shopping mall, location, train station, whatever. Let's say it's another day. Let's say it's 08. For example, so we create three first. Three objects. So this value, this value, this value, this value, this value will be, when you call the adapter, will actually be bind to the text view. All this value will be bind. This bind will actually bind the value, bind the value, bind the value to the, bind the value to the view. Right, the view, the view that we have created just now. This view. Right on the view. You'll be bind. So now, all right, done already, this location. So now we need to do a bit of changes here, because this one is now is a release history. So now RecyclerView. Okay, this is still the same, no need to change. Let me see what happened here. Oh, I forgot to change. History adapter. This one is array. Forgot to change. Have to change this one. Array list. Because if I use array list here, I have to change it also. You can use array, actually doesn't matter. If you want to use array, you just use an array. But array, the size is fixed. For me, I want to add. Later I can add. You can also add a new member using array list. If you use array list here, you need to change to array list. You expect to tag array list, not array. It's a different type. Okay, now here, if I want to add it dynamically in the code, I also can do like that. This array list, right? Locations. Now I can add one more member, dot add, right? I can add in the history here. History object. History object. Let's say I copy this guy. I can add like that. If you use an array list. But if you use an array, cannot. The size is fixed as soon as you declare. The size already fixed. 3 means 3. You cannot add anymore when you initialize it. Array. Array list you can add. You can add as many as you want. You can remove also. Let's say this one is another one, like airport. Let's say, I add another member airport. So the day is 7. Let's say. So there are 4. 1, 2, 3 initialize, and later I add one more, and I pass the array to the array list to the adapter. Okay, let's try. Let's try whether it works or not. We don't know yet. Okay, run. Run. Try it. Right, it's running, it's compiling, so I have to wait a while. Right? Okay. Huh? Yeah, so it should be loaded. Only 4, so may not need to scroll because only 4. Right? With a cut view. With a cut view. Each of them will look like this. Right? Look like this. Okay, 4. It's installing. I hope you are not so tired. So doing RecyclerView is a bit long. This is only to display. Not even like you click on it, you want something to happen. Let's say I want to click on one item and open another screen. There's another work to do. Okay, listed, right? You see? Okay. Right? But maybe the space is too large between them. Yeah, not RecyclerView. So if you want to make it longer so that you can scroll up and down, you can test by just going to the code. Add more object here. Right? Add more object now. I can just add more. Comma. Just copy and paste. So 6 already, 7. And then comma. So I got 9. I think most likely you need to scroll now. I will need to scroll. If you don't like the margin so large, right, you have to change it inside your layout. Your layout here, this margin. Don't put margin, maybe you just put one side, bottom or top, right? One side only. So because when you put margin, is both up and down also 5, 5 become 10. In between the subsequent item, got 5 and 5 become 10. So that's why you see it quite big. So you want to just put on one side. Just put on top or just put on bottom. Everyone, the top has 5 PDP. But on the left and right, you also need to define if you want to add that. So the left also you need to do it separately. Left, right? Left also maybe you want to put 5. Otherwise you stick to the parent. Android. So layout, margin, right. So just make it separately so that it will look better. You can adjust. Okay, here, right now, then I can scroll up and down. You see, enough for me to scroll quite a lot. All right. Okay. Let's say I want to make it horizontal. Can scroll horizontal? We can just change. Okay or not so far? The question for this part. Any question? I think you get the idea. The project I can give you this project. You can refer back to it. Then you understand. Then you can modify and apply the same concept to your project. Then you know how to do already. It's just a different ID or different image, different text, different date. Right? These are the data I do, the dummy data I do. The dummy data. Okay, so now let's say I just change one word here. Horizontal. See what happened? It can be a horizontal adapter, horizontal RecyclerView. Right? Because horizontal, I cannot make it so long, right? Otherwise, it's very hard to scroll. So all of this, I make it to be, let's say I want to test horizontal only. I just want to change one horizontal. Okay, now the layout, the history item, right? This one, right? Wrap content. I shouldn't, the width, I cannot match parent. I should wrap content. Just to test the horizontal scroll. I just want to test. I change it a while. Just 只是改一下 test only. Wrap content, wrap content. All of this wrap content. Don't match parent. If you match parent, this one match parent is okay because the parent is the cut view. If the cut view is only so short, then the relative layout also follow that. So I just change this part the width. Right, I just want to test the horizontal scroll. So okay, now I change this one to horizontal. The layout manager to horizontal. So let's try again. Try again. So it's scroll horizontal. Almost done. We will not extend beyond 6 o'clock. No worry. On time. On time. I'm also tired actually. I have another class this morning. So please voice out your issue if you really blur. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Okay, so but it should be clear enough. I very detailed already what you can do. Okay, so now you see horizontal. You see the layout is horizontal. Right, it's going to launch. Right, horizontal. But may not look nice, horizontal. You can scroll. Horizontal. Only a few only. How come we cannot display more? Oh, actually quite a lot. Yeah, you just scroll very fast. Horizontal. Cannot. To do a horizontal, very simple. Just the layout change. Okay, horizontal. Okay, let's say I want to do grid view. Grid. Okay, now how to make it grid? Okay, just do a separate. Right, it's a different constructor for grid. Okay, this one I just comment. Right, I do a separate. This one you still need to do the vertical for your assignment. But let's say grid view. Grid view layout manager is the same. Okay, here we change instead of linear layout, grid layout manager. Grid layout manager only have 2 parameters. Also, the first one is this. There is no force, I think. No force. Okay, you need to have a span. Span meaning the column. I think it's 2 if I don't remember it wrongly. Let me check. Also forget. Grid layout. How many? I need to check online first. Wait. Forgot already the parameter. Okay, let me just use the tool. Okay, I just import first. Import. Sorry. Import first. Import the class. Right, import the class. Right, import this class. Grid layout manager. Okay, so here are 2. 2 is mean 2 column. Then one more. What is the third one? Span mean column. Grid meaning you have vertical and horizontal vertical. The third one, what is the parameter? Let me check. You can Google grid layout manager RecyclerView. The documentation. Okay, let me show you how I actually do my project normally. I just Google. I just search for that how to use that class because I cannot remember also, right? No one can remember everything. Okay, so when we do project, we don't memorize. Okay, I'll just show you. Grid layout manager. Look for it. You just Google, you can find this developer website documentation. Okay, I want to look for the constructor, right? This is the constructor. Yeah. Okay, the constructor. Yeah. Not the nested class. Constructor. Context. I put this just now, right? This. There are so many constructors. I use this one. Good enough. 2. Right? Only 2. This. The context, right? The context and also the span. Span count meaning number of columns, right? So there are different way to use the grid layout, right? So you have a few constructor that you can choose from. How come like that? Okay, wait. Let me go back. Let me go back. Sorry, I accidentally clicked some link. The previous screen. How come it come to this? Grid layout. Okay, I search and then I come to this grid layout documentation. So it's a bit slow. Okay, grid layout. So there are a few constructor. I check which one I can use. I use this one. I just want to tell how many column. Orientation. Orientation you can also set if you want. right? Whether reverse layout or not. Orientation can be vertical, or it's a integer. So if you don't know how to use this orientation, you have to check what value you need to give it, right? Orientation. But for now, we just use this. Okay. So let's go back to the Android Studio. Right, I come back to the Android Studio. Okay, use this. So 2 parameters. I use that constructor. So 2 parameters, this and 2. All right, so done. Grid layout. We are trying grid layout. See whether it works or not. It may not look nice. So bear in mind. Okay, I run again. Instead of horizontal, vertical just now, right? I can do a grid way. Grid meaning you have left and right, 2 columns. Okay, let me run it. This is the last one already. Once this is done correctly, I give you the code. I give you the code. All right, so installing, installing, compiling, installing. All right, is okay, almost done. Almost done. Almost done. Because I changed the layout, so quite a new APK. All right, 6 o'clock. Sorry. Extend 1 or 2 minutes. Right. Okay, launching. All right, launching. Just now we use linear layout, right? Linear, vertical or horizontal, one column or 1 row. Horizontal. And then now we can launch it. We launch it again first. Or you can test yourself, the code, if you use grid layout manager. Right, grid layout manager, okay. So let's see the emulator. Grid layout, not nice, because our content, everyone will use right, this is grid, okay, because we use wrap content. If you change to this one, wrap content, if you change to match parent, it will look better. In this case, for the grid layout, it should be match parent on the width, right? Let me test. I think it's okay, right? You understand now. This one is a grid layout, right? You just need to change it in the code here, so you can create that. The data is dummy data. Until we have learned database, we can read from database. Right, this one is grid. Okay. No, but for your use cases, mostly actually linear layout, vertical. Normally we do vertical. But for now, we just want to do a test, whether grid layout can be done or not. Can be done using RecyclerView. Here, this is not even because the content, the length of the string is not the same, right? That's why, because just now we changed this to not the history item to match parent wrap content. That's why it's not the same. But supposedly, if you match parent, should be the same. a match to the view of the parent. Okay, any question? Any question? Understand today's class, 3 hours. I do my best to put everything in a very concise way to do a recycling. Some of you maybe know already, you know, but maybe today you learn something extra to understand the architecture, how you link the data and the view. This is nicer, right? Once you change to match parent, right, the view, you adjust itself to the parent. Okay, this is great. But this one is height is still not standard, right? It's red content. This one is not standard. This one you cannot match parent. You should do something like a fixed height if you want the height to be standard. So maybe 100 dp or something like that. So everyone will be 100 dp. Okay. So to do your assignment, I think most likely you still need to switch back for this code. Just comment out this one and uncomment this one. So it'll be a original linear layout, the list. Okay, so let me clean this project and give you a copy. 有问题吗? Maybe I close my camera first. It's a bit slow. Okay, I close my camera. Okay, any question? Any question? Hey, camera still on. Okay. Any question? 可以明白吗? Okay, I zip the file. Before you go up, please give me a while. I zip the. Let me zip the project and give you the project. Let me close the shared screen. This is a RecyclerView basic of how to do a RecyclerView in different format, grid and also the horizontal, vertical. Wait, 等一下，等我几分钟我给你那个 code. I give you the code. No one ask question. Why is it so? Okay. Uploading. It's uploading. Still digesting. Okay, I think you should be able to understand. All of you are intelligent enough. Right? You just need to Google a bit, referring here and there. The reason why I don't use a PowerPoint slide is because PowerPoint slide cannot help too much. I have the PowerPoint. Actually, I put all the PowerPoint on Moodle already. If you really want to refer to RecyclerView, you can check one of the PowerPoint. But PowerPoint doesn't help you to code also. And also, textbook don't have any good book actually can explain very clearly on how you implement. When you implement, it's a different story than the theory. You can read a book on theory, what is RecyclerView, how to do it. But I think I demo to you better. So the code is given to you. You just watch back the recording again and cross-check it with the code. Then you understand very well, very easily. Just modify the code to your situation that you want to do. For now, you use dummy data. Later on, when we come to the database on room database and on remote API, then we can change the code on the data part, right? The creating that list. We use a database, we read from database and populate the list, right? That is the difference. So it's a dynamic list that actually we fed from the database, to be fed from the database. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the class. I do my best to make it understandable. Sorry that my computer today a bit not so efficient because I have to remove the Trojan